I worked both facilities, different shifts, multiple shifts. I was always covering, but you would deal with women that were you dealt with women that were dealing with a lot of psychological issues, and then you deal with a lot of guys that are dealing with a lot of psychological issues. The hardest thing I ever had to do, which is I'm gonna piggyback a little bit off of what you talked about, what you spoke about with the pregnant lady. The hardest thing I had to do though was taking a woman who had a baby in our custody. I had to have child services take the child away. Like that was rough. Like while she was in our custody and she gave birth.
That happened in the hospital?
In the hospital, bro. Yeah, it was weird, man.
What hospital was that? Mount Carmel?
I think it was out. No, actually, yeah, I think it was Mount Carmel.
I've actually never been there when something like that happened. So, I never really seen anything like that. So I've heard about it.
Yeah, it was bad, man. Because like the lady was there for like 3 days after she gave birth, and she was a recovering addict and stuff. And then as she gave birth and she was holding the baby and stuff, I let the nurses come in and wheel the baby in. Actually, I want to say it was OSU, to be honest with you, man. I want to say it was Ohio State. And it was like on the third day, she had to get transported back to jail.
Yeah.
I was there, and I was like, all right, I don't know what to do because I got to transport this lady back to jail. She has a baby in her hand. So I called my sergeant and said, hey, Sarge, I got to take this lady back to corrections, back to the jail. What's going on? She's like, oh, no, CPS will be there in a second. I was like, oh, damn. So, like, while I was there, just knock on the door, CPS showed up, or the nurse showed up with a counselor. They handed her a piece of paper. Just, like, started bawling, signed the papers, kissed her baby, and baby wheeled away. I was like, damn. That was that was probably the hardest thing I ever had to deal with.
Yeah.
In corrections, dealing with something like that. Just because being a father, you have that soft spot, but people do make decisions. Not all of them are right, not all of them are wrong. You don't really understand why they make decisions when they make them. But that was probably like the hardest thing that I ever had to really see a mom really do. But I hope that kid are reunited now. I hope she's on better track with everything. Since I left the department, I've been out of the sheriff's office now for 4 years. So I kind of took a different detour in life. I deal a lot with filming and entertainment now.
Oh, man, you're a movie star, man.
No.
Y'all listen. Y'all need to go see Creed 3. He's in Creed 3. He was in Black Adam, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Civil War, a bunch of joints, but working on some things right now. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? He trying to buy a big house. You know what I'm saying? No, honestly, but so I think the hardest thing I had to do in corrections, man, was when I was in prison. And when I was in the prison, there was a dude that was in my he was in my housing unit, and I was in a level 3 institution, in Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. This before I became like hospital officer or deputy sheriff or any of that. But in the prison, this dude, like I said, he was in my housing unit, and I got a call from the because every housing unit they're not counselors, they're man, what is the title of that person? It's been so many years, man. But
almost like social workers, maybe?
Yeah, it was like a social worker, but they had a specific title, a unit manager. That's what it was. The dude was a unit manager. So he called my phone he called me on the radio to pick up the phone. And so I went to my desk, I picked up the phone, and he told me that I had an inmate in my housing unit that was that his son just got murdered on the street. And this dude, this was kind of a serious dude, man. You know what I'm saying? So I had waited, and I didn't want, because in the institution, what I learned in institution is that news in there travels faster than it does on the street. You know what I'm saying? When people locked up, sometimes they know somebody gonna get killed or whatever in the institution before they know before it happens on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like they know in the joint, man. So I was thinking like when I got told by the unit manager, I gotta set him aside, I gotta deliver the news, I gotta set him aside and tell him and all that. So I was thinking, man, this was like an hour before the day room shut down because in a level 3 institution, at least back then, they had to we had to do lockdown at like 9 o'clock. And in lockdown, like I had to get everybody go to cell, you know what I'm saying, do the count for the lockdown and so on and so forth. So I was thinking like, all right, when because I didn't want to start bugging out, and I got a room full of people, you know what I'm saying. I didn't want to cause a scene either, so I was thinking like, all right, when I get him in the cell, then I'm gonna go to the cell and tell him. And I felt like it would have been disingenuous to tell him through the cell door because there's a lot of people that listen
Oh
in the
yeah,
institution too, man. They like being in big people's business, you know what I'm saying? So I was like,
absolutely.
when I lock down, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to his cell. I'm gonna open the cell. I'm gonna step in there, and I'm gonna tell dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell dude that I have something to tell him, and I want to tell him face to face. It's important. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did, man. When when I locked everybody down, I went to a cell. I remember he lived on the second tier, and I went to a cell. I opened the cell door, and he was sitting up on it. He was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Looking at me, I was like, man, I gotta tell you something, man. I said, you mind coming off the rack real quick, bro? So he stood on the floor, and he was like, what's up, man? And I was like, man, um, I hate to be the one to tell you this, man, but there's nobody else available to be able to deliver this information because it was overnight, so there was nobody else in there. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And I think the captains and or lieutenant, not was it the captain? No, it was lieutenants. So I think the lieutenants, yeah, and the captains, the captain and the lieutenants, they had other things going on the other side of the prison, so they couldn't come with me to deliver the information. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like I just had I had to do it myself. So I was like, listen, man, I don't know how to tell you, but um, your son. I told him his name. I was like, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He lost his life. The dude stood there for a second, man, and then I was like, but I want to tell you this. I said, if you need to get out of this room and you need to walk around the day room, because this was totally against policy too. You know what I'm saying? But I was taking this one. I was taking a risk with this one. I said, if you need to come out of the cell, man, and have some time on the day room, man, just walking around, or if you need me to make a call to the captain's office, the shift commander's office, and see if you can talk to your people back home or whatever, man, and we can work something out. Or if you just want to sit out there and talk, we can do that, man. I don't have no problem with that. This is a difficult thing that you're dealing with right now, and you need some time and some space to process it. So dude stood there, he looked at me, man. He just kind of nodded his head and was like, nah, I don't need anything. And that was it. And like I said, dude was kind of rowdy. He was a live dude, man. But after that, after I did that, I didn't have no problems with him. And as a matter of fact, he ended up getting his level dropped and moved to the other side of the institution where it was dorms. Because on the level 3 side, it was cell blocks, and then on the level 2 side, it was dorms. So when he went to the level 2 side, got his level dropped because he was, he started behaving himself or didn't get no write ups in the institution, and I had to work over there one
yeah,
day to cover somebody's shift, just like a overtime. And since I didn't work
for
over
sure.
there, when you don't work in a particular housing unit, the inmates they like to try to test you. You know what I'm saying? They like to try to,
Oh,
uh,
they want to see how they can get away with.
yeah, they want to try to test you, man. They try. So I remember I had to go to the bathroom or something, man. And I went to the bathroom, and when I came out of the bathroom, everybody was cool. And what happened was somebody told me that when I went to the bathroom, he went out and told everybody like, if y'all cause any problems with this dude, man, when he leave, I'm gonna kill you. He told him that straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Are you
He said, if
serious?
you give this dude any problems, I'm gonna kill y'all, man. And he had that reputation where people was like, yeah,
Thank you.
he's straight up. So yeah, man. That's an example of like showing some respect how that can be reciprocated later on, like when I was in the institution. Like I thought that was I mean, I don't promote that behavior, you know what I'm saying? And I don't
No, no.
you know what I mean? And I didn't expect that from him. But somebody told me later on that he said that. And he said that because
Well,
of how I treated him when he lost his son. Like he had gained that much respect for me. But that's it though, man. I
the thing about
appreciate you coming
corrections
through.
that
Huh?
oh yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say the thing about corrections that I understood there's just another law within the law while
Oh
you're
yeah.
in there. And that's what a lot of the guys, it's a respect thing back and forth. I never had any issues when I was in corrections. I had one guy who tried me. Actually, no, I had about three guys that tried me altogether while I was in corrections. Because two were mental health and one dude didn't know me. Uh, but normally, like when I was in corrections, I established such a good friendship. Let me let me change that. I developed such a respect with a lot of the other inmates while I was in there that there really wasn't many issues. And that's just, I mean, every deputy I worked with, they'll tell you, like, they would put me, on a mental health floor, just because I was able to try to change the demographic and the climate with a lot of the inmates. And it's not a sense of like demanding respect when you're around them. It's just honestly talking to them and communicating with them. And it would end up causing me a little extra time during my rounds that I would, ooh, shit, can't park there. It's the director's spot. Sorry. I saw a open parking spot. I'm like, I'm gonna park right there. That's the director. Sorry. Okay, I'm parking right next to him.
Yeah, movie star
But
problems.
well, I'm just trying to last here more than just one day. I don't want to be here for one day. Like, yeah, this guy's gone. But it would take me a lot longer on my rounds because I would talk to a lot of the inmates and just try to figure out what it is they were going through. A lot of it's a crisis thing that they're going through right now. I did the CIT training and stuff. I did all the talking with them, but it's a crisis they're going through. They're changing their lives completely. And I don't know, man. I don't know if it's obviously people are lacking more patience just because of the day and age that we're living in right now with social media and technology, that everyone kind of wants instantaneous gratification and satisfaction now. But you gotta also understand the humility part of the game, and that is what I learned the most when I was in corrections was the humility part of talking to them, because not it's the initial arrest is traumatizing for a lot of people. When you're arresting someone on the side of the road, it's just traumatizing to them. You're changing their life abruptly. Talking to someone after they've been given their sentencing is traumatizing to them, especially depending on what the sentence is. It's that in between factor where you can really try to dive into the psychology of what an inmate or what a person is really going through. That's the part. Or I'm gonna take you off this real quick. You there?
Yeah.
All right, that's the part where I learned the most in corrections was dealing with that stuff.